A friend of mine, someone who travels constantly for work, always stayed in cheap but decent hotels. Nothing ever scared him, until Pennsylvania. He checked into an old hotel in a small town, the kind that smelled like damp carpet and stale air. The room was simple, a bed, a desk, a bathroom. He was exhausted, so he fell asleep right away. Around 2 a.m. he woke up to a faint sliding sound. At first he thought it was noise from the hallway, but then he realized the sound was coming from under his door. He switched on the lamp. A small white piece of paper was sticking halfway under the door. The note read, "Someone is watching you from inside the hotel." His chest tightened. He locked the chain, sat with his back against the headboard and tried to stay calm. 20 minutes later, the same sliding sound. Another note. "I was inside your room earlier. I like watching people sleep in this hotel." He felt the blood drain from his face. He checked under the bed, the closet, behind the shower curtain. Nothing. But the feeling that someone had been there wouldn't go away. He told himself, "If I get a third note, I'm leaving immediately." And then, the third note slid under the door. "I'm inside the room again." His heart nearly stopped. Suddenly, every shadow in the room felt alive, like someone was standing just out of sight, behind the curtains, or in the dark corner near the desk. He grabbed his bag and ran to the door. He checked the peephole. The hallway was empty. He bolted out and sprinted down the corridor. But just as he turned the corner, he saw a dark shape jerk backward into the shadows. At the front desk, a different employee was working. He said only 3 people were staying on the 3rd floor. No one should have been walking around the hallway. My friend checked out immediately. When the staff accompanied him back to grab his things, they found the window lock broken, freshly snapped. "Maybe someone climbed in from outside," the employee suggested. He left that hotel within minutes, but one thought kept burning in his mind. The third note said someone was back inside the room, even though the room looked empty. Part 2. The Virginia Hotel Incident. A few weeks later, he stayed at another hotel, this time in Virginia. It was strangely empty, too. The moment he entered the room, he felt it, like someone had just been sitting on the bed moments before he arrived. The lamp was tilted. A drawer was slightly open. There was a soft crease in the blanket. He tried to ignore it and eventually fell asleep. But in the middle of the night, the doorknob began to turn, slowly, quietly, as if someone outside was testing it. Then came a faint metal scrape, like someone inserting a key. The door pushed inward a little, then stopped. Silence. He convinced himself it was hotel staff checking the wrong room. But at 2:15 a.m. he jolted awake. He could hear breathing, deep, slow, inside his room. And in the darkness, he saw a heavy dark figure bent over his backpack. His voice shook. "Who's there?" The figure replied, "It's housekeeping. Sorry, I'll leave." And the man walked out. He turned on the light. His bag had been searched. He called the front desk. They said, "There's no housekeeping staff on duty right now." When the police reviewed the CCTV, a large, unsettling man was seen wandering the hallway several times, then using a master key to enter his room. The hotel confirmed the truth. The man didn't work there. He'd somehow stolen the master key. My friend left the hotel immediately. Part 3. The New Jersey Hotel. Months later, he checked into a budget hotel in New Jersey. The room looked normal, but the pillow was angled strangely, and the closet was wide open. That night, as he drifted off to sleep, he heard a soft sliding sound coming from one corner of the room, then slow, heavy breathing. He looked at the closet. The door, which had been wide open, was now slightly closed. Someone had touched it. Terrified, he rushed out to the hallway. The front desk was empty. A phone rang non-stop. No one answered. When a woman finally appeared, she said, "There's no housekeeping today, just me and one old staff member." They went back to his room together. Everything looked perfectly neat again. The closet was wide open. He switched rooms. But around 2 a.m., he heard a housekeeping cart rolling down the hallway, slow, creaking, wheels wobbling. Except there was no housekeeping staff, and the cart stopped right outside his door. Then he heard it, that same deep, heavy breathing, right on the other side of the door. Something touched the door, a hand gliding across it. He looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, no cart. In the morning, when he checked out, the clerk said, "We haven't had a housekeeper for a week. The woman we hired disappeared without notice." But the woman who spoke to him the night before had said, housekeeping already cleaned all the rooms. So who was breathing inside his room, touching his door in the hallway, pushing a housekeeping cart through an empty hotel? Part 4. The Hotel Employee Incident, 2023. My friend told me one more story, something that happened to one of his co-workers who worked at a hotel. Summer 2023, night shift. The hotel almost empty. He had finished cleaning the pool area and went to put towels in the storage room. That's when he felt it, like someone was already inside. No one was allowed in without signing a pool access form. But that night, he heard the storage room door slowly, gently, close from the inside. Then came the sound of dragging feet. When he pulled the door open, nobody, just towels scattered all over the floor. And in the corner, wet footprints, fresh. But the pool had been closed for hours. There were no guests. And the worst part? The CCTV camera facing that hallway blacked out for exactly the few minutes the incident happened. No footage, no explanation, just silence.